G'day guys and welcome back to AFL Time 23 for another video. In this video we're going to be doing a bit of a different video. I've never done this before. We're going to be ranking the new 2023 AFL Indigenous Guernseys, and what a round it's going to be. We have all the teams in there. Indigenous round. We have the Dreamtime game between Essendon and Richmond on Saturday night or sometime around that, I believe. But I've seen other AFL YouTubers, content creators do this, like Cardman22 for instance. So we're going to get straight into this video. So first of all, we have 5 tiers here. We have bland, which means there's not really much you could tell on it, not really much story, not a very nice design. Decent, it's okay, good, great and outstanding, of course. They go up from top to bottom, from last to best. And first off, we'll start off with this Brisbane Lions Guernsey. And Brisbane, with their Guernseys for Indigenous round each year, they usually do a very good job, I must say. Now, I do love the Brisbane Guernsey again. This one looks pretty good. I'm going to chuck it. I do like the design of the line there, and I do like the stuff that's going on at the bottom. They've got some dot paintings, I think, at the bottom maybe. I'm going to put it in grade. I think it's might got the last of grade. There are some out here that I think are better, but it's decent enough. Now we move on to the one of the Melbourne Guernseys, and this one I can see the royal blue. They've changed that now and done the design in the bottom half, or the bottom section, replacing the royal blue. I can see that they've done it in black. They've done the Aboriginal symbols. I think they might think they're people around the campfire in the middle there. I could be wrong on that. This one, I don't mind it. I'm going to chuck it in good. Like, it's not bad. It's not really outstanding. I think it's average. It's pretty good, but Melbourne usually do a great job. Now this one, I'm going to rate this one. I'm going to put it in behind the Lions Guernsey. Melbourne always do a good job with their Indigenous Guernseys, as I said before, and I'm going to put it behind the Lions. I don't think it's as good as the Lions, but it's definitely, I feel like the colour schemes, even though it's the exact same as the other Melbourne one, the colour schemes just look a bit better for me on this one, and that's why I'm just going to, they match more, the colour scheme, so that's why I'm just going to put it behind the Lions. We move on, and this looks like a North Melbourne Guernsey. I'm pretty sure. I can't really get a bigger picture of this, but yes, this does look like a North Melbourne Guernsey. Now, last year I know they adopted the kangaroo in theirs. This time they've decided to leave it out, so I don't know why. It's not bad. I'd say last year's Guernsey was a bit better, in my opinion, if I'm being honest. And I think, it's not a bad. There's lots of, swirly curves up and down. You've got the circle in the middle. Is that a footy field? It looks like that to me. I don't know what that is. I'm not Indigenous. I don't have an Indigenous background, so I apologise for that, but I don't really know. I'm gonna put it in good. It's not the best out there again. It's okay, but I don't think it's as good as the Melbourne one though. Next we move on to the Adelaide one, the Adelaide Crows, and this year again, like the North Melbourne one, last year they had the kangaroo. Last year they had adopted the crow, and now this year they've got rid of that, so I don't know why again, but I still rate this one. I think it's pretty good. I'm going to put this in grade. I'm just going to put it in front of the Melbourne one. Adelaide always seem to pull off great Guernsey designs each year, and yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good in my opinion. We have another Lions Guernsey, and this is just the same. So yeah, both of these, I think I'm going to rank Adelaide's up. I like them a bit better than the Lions, to be honest. Actually, nah, I'll put the Adelaide behind Brisbane, but those two are kind of the same. It's not really one in front of the other for those two. Now, the Blues, usually theirs is pretty bland each year. It's pretty boring. I mean, the Carlton Blues, their whole Guernsey's pretty navy blue, so there's not much you can really do. However, I think they've done an okay job. I'm going to put it in decent. It's not the best gone out there. It's probably one of the worst out of these. But, I mean, you can't help it. The Blues, that's basically their home colour. But I feel like they've actually done a pretty good job, in my opinion, of the Carlton Blues. So I'm going to put them there. It's not the best, but, you know. Now, Collingwood, they're really a team. A magpie is an Australian animal. They can really do some more stuff with their Guernseys. And each year, yes, I get that it kind of looks a bit messy if you put, like, paintings through the middle of the lines. But seriously, you just put dots paintings on the stripes. That's not a bad idea. Like, I think, if not, it's definitely better than last year's, just with the feathers falling. However, though, I don't think it's... I think it's actually worse than the Carlton one. I'm going to chuck it... is it bland? I'm going to chuck it in bland. I'm sorry, Collingwood fans, but that... Like, when you go up close, yes, you can kind of see the dots in the middle, but when you look at it far, it's kind of just going to be a bit gazy. You can't really see it. It's only on the stripes. I know they can't do much, but I'm going to chuck it in bland for now. That could change. And we head on to Essendon next. And, of course, they've got the red sash. They've made it a bit blurry. Now, this could almost be bland as well. Usually Essendon do a pretty good job with their Indigenous Guernseys each year, but I can't really see much on there. I can see some of the paintings and some of the Aboriginal drawings on there, but if not, I could probably not even see it from a far distance, to be honest. I'm going to chuck it indecent behind Carlton's. It's not bad, but it's almost bland. Like, I could almost see the Collingwood one better. It's not bad. I'll chuck it there. Next, we have the Freo Dockers, and theirs actually doesn't look too bad. They've got the purple poppy, I think it is, at the top. I could be wrong on that, just like they did last year in theirs. And they have, I don't know what they are. They're like birds, maybe. It's representing Fremantle. Yeah, I can see a bit of their history. I can see the anchor there. Theirs isn't bad. I'm going to chuck it. I think it can go in great. I'll chuck it at the top of good. I don't think it's good enough for great, but it's definitely good enough for good. And I think that can be ranked as the first tier. Now we head on to the Geelong Guernsey. Now, Geelong, they're not too big on their Guernseys. Geelong, most of theirs, I have to say, is pretty boring, in my opinion. But they haven't done a bad job for this one, you know. This one, it doesn't look too bad. I'll chuck it behind Norse. It's not as good as Norse, but it can go at the end of good. Like, it's not really that good, but it's better than last year's. Probably, maybe better than last year's, if I'm being honest. We also have another Geelong one. It's just the same in another colour. Now, this one, it looks like it's nighttime, to be honest. And this might be the story behind it or something, but it really looks like it's nighttime. I'll just chuck it here. It goes in the same tier. Now we move on to the Gold Coast one. Wow. I personally really love this Guernsey. I mean, you can see that there's like they're the people sitting around the fire, I'm pretty sure, or sitting in a circle. And then you've got the Gold Coast logo there. You got the dots. Yeah, this one doesn't look too bad. I'm actually going to rate this one. I fairly do rate this one. I'm going to chuck it. Is it better than the Crows? I'm going to chuck it in front of Melbourne's. It's definitely not better than the Crows, but it is up there. It is up there. Now we have the Giants one, and I'm pretty sure this is the Giants one. Yes, it is. They usually don't really do much for their they usually don't do much, for their Indigenous Guernseys. Usually they just have the G and then, you know, have some stuff because they're orange, like they're an orange team, like. But I personally think this could actually be up there. Like, Giants haven't really done anything in the past with Indigenous Guernseys. I actually really love this one, personally. I think it's probably better than Gold Coast, maybe. But I'll chuck it there in front of the Ds. I think it's just better than the Ds. Maybe not as better as Gold Coast, but I think the Giants have really stepped up. They've done a good job there. Moving on, we have the Hawks. Yeah, this is the Hawks, not the Eagles. Yeah, you know, it's not bad. However, it's not... Yeah, I'm not going to say it's bad. It's probably just better than the Geelong one. Only just, but I'll chuck it there. Port Adelaide, now, for whatever reason, they have this bird each year. That obviously symbolises something. I'm not Indigenous, so I don't know that reason, sorry. But they always seem to include this bird each year. It's almost bland, but except they made the bird really better this year. I'm not a big lover of it. I'll chuck it behind Essendon's, but it's definitely not as better as Essendon's. But I think it's decent. It's okay. Now we have the Richmond one, and this one. Yeah, it doesn't look bad, but you can't really see the dots. It's apart from the sash, it's kind of just bland. They've kind of swapped the colours around Richmond in this one, so they've gone with the sash as black and. I'm not a big lover. I'm gonna chuck it in front of. Maybe when I get a closer up look of it, it might be better than Port's. But I'm gonna chuck it in front of Port's. It's almost blunt, but Gold Coast, that can just go here. We have the Saints now. Usually St Kilda last year they didn't do a too bad job. Didn't do a worse job, but I know that we've got yellow this year, so we can't do much. But personally, I'm not even being biased here. Like this isn't good enough. Like this is almost blunt. Like what is that on the side? Is that a snake? No, it's not. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I get that we have to have yellow, but I don't see why that stops us from not even having. It's almost worse than Collingwood's. I'm going to chuck it in front of Collingwood's. To be honest, it's kind of just bland, if I'm being honest. Like, for our 150th, it's not really what I was expecting. It's, should I chuck it up? Nah, it's bland. Actually, nah, the yellow's better. I'm going to chuck it behind Port's. It can be indecent. Like, it's okay, but I don't really know why they didn't do much of a design on there. Now, the Swans, I swear this is the same as last year. I could be wrong on that, but it's the same, and they don't really need to change theirs, the Swans. I'm pretty sure this is the same as last year. Some of these might be the same. I might just not recognise them, but I do recognise this being the same. The blue, I never see the Swans use blue in their AFL Guernseys, so this is good to see, bringing it back from last year. It's definitely better than the Geelong one. Maybe better than the Hawks, yes. I think it can just be above North. Actually, this one's pretty good. I actually rate this one. It can go in front of Melbourne. Still think the Giants is a bit better, but I'll chuck it behind the Giants. Now the Eagles, they didn't do a bad job, but they didn't do a good job at the same time. Like, if not, it's probably worse than their AFL Indigenous Guernsey from last year. I'm not a big. Last year I would have rated this an outstanding, but we're going to need to reshuffle because we don't have one in outstanding, but I will choose one. We'll chuck it here. It's probably better than Geelong's. It's probably better than Hawthorn's. We'll chuck it there. Bulldogs, it doesn't look bad. I know they had one a few years ago where it looked like you wearing a Marvel suit and looked like an atrocious, but I don't know where to chuck this one. It's definitely not outstanding. We are going to reshuffle because we need one in outstanding. We'll chuck it. Well, it's probably better than the Geelong ones, to be honest. But it's probably not better than the Hawks. So we'll chuck it behind the Hawks. It's decent. Okay, so we need one in outstanding. And if I'm being honest, there can only be one in outstanding for me personally. I'm just looking through them. We could have Giants, Dockers maybe. We can't have the Saints in outstanding. Oh, I'm going to need to choose a decision, aren't I? I'm going to go with, we can have a drum roll. I'm going to chuck one in outstanding. To be honest, there can only be one in outstanding, like there is each year. And this one, I'm just going to put, I don't know why, I'm just going to put the Crows in outstanding. They're having an outstanding year. They're going pretty good this year, and not because of that. I actually really love their design. Like, I think it's definitely better than last year, but yeah. I'm just going to chuck that one in outstanding. Anyways, that's going to wrap up the video. If you did enjoy, please do like and hit that subscribe button. That is my opinion, my rank. So sorry about that, but yeah, you can't change that, fortunately. But I'll see you guys in my